Hey, it's Rod Yates. Welcome to Mastering Events, an Audience Republic podcast. Each episode, I'll be talking to some of the world's most accomplished event professionals to discover how they got where they are today, the lessons they've learned throughout that journey, and their insights around event marketing and maximizing ticket sales. My guest today is Oscar Ugaz, Strategy Director of Atomikal and former Digital Business Manager at Real Madrid. For a man who worked at one of the most famous football clubs in the world, I find it pretty funny that Oscar never really had any love of sport. But then again, he wasn't hired to pull on his football boots and score goals. He was there because of his expertise in digital innovation, media, and marketing, skills which form the cornerstone of our discussion. We also talk about marketing innovations at football clubs, or lack thereof, the differences in attitude towards technology and innovation between American and European sporting organizations, and much more. But without further ado, here is Oscar Ugaz. I know your career has gone off in many different directions, but there is a heavy sporting element to it as well. And I thought it was quite fascinating that, from what I understand, you didn't even really grow up a sports fan, and perhaps even now aren't overly interested. Is that the case?
Yes, that's the case. It's very particular. I don't know. But when I growing up, I don't have an interest in sports, you know. I am a little more nerdy, so I spent a lot of time when I was little, I was reading. I has very awful hand-eye coordination, so I am incapable to do all these physical things. And I also hate people shouting at me. So when I go and I play a little bit of basketball, okay? But when coaches shout at me, audience shout, I get too nervous. So I say, this is not my thing. I swim a lot. I used to swim a lot. I still do a little bit. But I like more these solitary things. And in my grandmother's house, there is a big library. So I spend a lot of time reading. I am a bookworm.
That's very interesting. Well, do you think that perspective gave you, or that upbringing gave you a different perspective when you actually came to Real Madrid in 2007 as the digital business manager? The fact that you weren't sports focused, do you think that gave you an objectivity to how you approached that role?
Yes, I think that is an objectivity, and also is some. When I was called by a headhunter, and the headhunter told me, we have been seeing the things that you have been doing in digital, and we want to offer this job. Okay, I said, what is this job? I said, it's a football club. I said, what football club? Well, it's Real Madrid. And for me, I was just arrived to Spain 6 months before of that meeting. Okay. And I said, well, I know that there was a club called Real Madrid, okay, but for me it's just a name, no? So I talked with my girlfriend, and now is my wife, and they said, but that is one of the biggest companies in the country, you have to accept. So I go and I talk with the people at the club, and I said, I have to be very honest, I don't like sports. And they say, you know what, we don't care. We maybe prefer that people are not fans of sports, okay? Because sometimes when you are a fan, your decisions are blurred by this heavy love or this heavy fandom that maybe you may have, no? So they say they prefer that. You see everything with more cold eyes, you know?
Right. And I think I've seen you talk about the fact that football teams can be quite traditional in the way they do their business and their reliance on legacy models. Coming back to that perspective and objectivity you brought to the organization when you joined, were you trying to, or were there things that you introduced that were kind of either pushed back against or really took the club in an area that perhaps they'd never been in before? Any kind of innovations, particularly in that digital space?
No, the thing is that football clubs. When we talk football, we talk soccer, European soccer for football.
Yeah.
This is organizations that also, because the type of competitions in which they are involved and the type of environment in which they are involved, they force them to need money all the time, and are very, very afraid to don't have the resources to keep competing. Why? Because we are talking, this is not like in America, okay, that the leagues are 20 rich companies, 20 rich guys. When there is a close competition, there is no relegation. In football, in general, in other sports, aside from the United States, there is open leagues, no? So there is relegation. If you don't win, you go to second division, and if you go to second division, there is no money. So you start entering into one type of black hole, you know. So people is desperate to keep competing. To keep competing, what you need the top talent, no? And to keep the top talent and to hire the top talent and keep the top talent, you have to have a lot of money, no? So you say, I am not going to test nothing, okay? O sea, come here and offer me multi-year contracts with minimum guarantees. Okay, we are here going to test this new thing years ago is social media, no? Nowadays is NFTs or blockchain or artificial intelligence, because we think that this deserves to be explored. The CFO of the club, the chief financial officer, are going to say, wait, what is your return on investment here? We don't know, because this is innovation. So at the end of the day, you ask, for example, and this is the same thing it happens years ago and still is happening today. No, you ask for 10, and the club says, well, because this is risky, here you have 3 or 2.
Right.
So you are always a little lagging behind the innovations and behind what is happening. No, American leagues, because of how they are configured, because of the marketing that are bigger, are more entrepreneurial and have the capacity to be more entrepreneurial. This is something that is the nature of how we are configured as businesses, and how, for example, the whole ecosystem is configured, that don't allow us to have this entrepreneurial approach, because we have to go for scalable business models.
How do you navigate that I guess those roadblocks?
The problem that you normally have in these types of organizations is that the way that they are configured, no? Digital is put under marketing, no? And digital is put under marketing, so you have the marketing manager here, and who is reporting to the marketing manager? Sponsorship, licensing, ticketing, broadcasting, and all of them are making a lot of money. And here you are at the same level of them, no? And when you come, they talk about 100 million and you talk about 10 million, okay? So right. You are compared the same way, okay? So the only way that you can pursue that is that you don't enter into a competition, because you never are going to meet the 100 million. No? You have to fight to try to convince the organization to think not of you as another line of revenues, okay? But most of that, mostly by like an area that is going to help the other areas to leverage, okay? To take opportunities around digital, okay? So you cannot go alone. You have to work very closely with license to see how you can help licensing, to see how you can help sponsorship, broadcasting, whatever. No, but this requires that also in the top of the organization they see you not as a little another revenue stream, but like an area that reports directly to the top area that has a more long-term vision and a more strategic vision, and say, okay, we are going to use digital to leverage all this business. No. Unfortunately, this is not the way that most, let's say again, football clubs are organized nowadays. Only in recent years, for example, some of the biggest football clubs has taken digital aside, and now digital is reporting to the top areas of the club, to the CEO or to the president, and they are going to start working more transversally. No? Until very recently, they are down there fighting for attention. No? And it's normal that they are not going to receive attention, no? Because you are comparing revenues and you are not providing them. So how I confront that? Very difficult. Okay, you need to present low-hanging fruit results. You have to fight a lot to try to convince that maybe people need to rethink the way that you do business models, that maybe you are going to fail, that you have a process of iteration. When the others are exploiting business model, you are exploring new business models. And that people need to have patience.
Can you think of an innovation that you managed to actually get to bring to fruition, and which yielded benefits for the club?
Yes. No, I for example, no, one thing that Real Madrid do is Real Madrid sign the first contract that a football club signed in whole Europe with YouTube. Why? Because we were thinking about developing. Now maybe that not sounds so innovative, but in that moment, some few years ago, was really innovative. No. All football clubs have having their own video on demand services, okay, and this is a type of business that is already dying, no, and Real want to try that, no, and we start trying to analyze how to do that, and for example, we do a lot of analysis, etc., and we see that there is a lot of piracy, and even to the fans that we talk and we say we are going to try to sell this to you, they say, you know what, we prefer, there is a lot of pirate content, okay, so we don't want to maybe pay for that, and even we are pirates, no? So talking, for example, in meetings with YouTube and talking with them about this project, because we want to use YouTube to maybe promote some little snippets of the videos to try to say, hey, then go to the website and pay for them in realmadrid.com. They say, hey, you have this problem of piracy, we have this technology that identifies someone is using your videos or your intellectual property, and you can block them, or if you want, you can let them go, okay, and we are going to sell advertising, and we give a percentage with you. So we, YouTube, are going to sell the advertising. And we say, oh my God, okay, so we are doing all the other tried video on demand model that is dying in that moment. We don't have content, whatever. And we can use this new platform and this technology to, for example, put some content, allow the people to share it, and don't care even if they pirate the content, because we are going to sell advertising. In the video on demand project, for example, we do financial projections, and we say, well, maybe we're going to make, in the most crazy positive scenario, maybe we're going to make break even in year 5. We signed a contract with YouTube, and we were making money the first year and a very interesting amount of money, So that's a contract was the one that Real Madrid was the first club who signed the contract in Europe. So it's very innovative,
Sure. I mean, so much has changed, even in the last couple of years, around the way that people consume content. You were just talking then about using YouTube, working with YouTube, and also about Real Madrid creating their own content. And, you see FC Barcelona do this as well. You see the NFL create their own content and have their own hubs. What are the best practices, you think, for creating content for these organizations that's actually going to not only bring in revenue, but deepen fan engagement and ultimately sell more tickets and season tickets?
You need a show, you need a blockbuster content, And when you need a blockbuster content, what you need, the most basic thing is that you need games, You need action, you need talent playing, and you need, for example, unpredictability, Because you don't know who is going to win, So that's something that you only can deliver when you have strong competitions. When you have a strong competition, when you have very strong teams with very strong players, and you don't know what is going to be the outcome. Sports in America is configured that way, we mentioned before, 20 very rich teams, the way they, for example, they divide the money, broadcasting money is in an equal way, broadcasting money enters, they divide it in equal parts, so everyone need to, it's an equilibrium. It's an equilibrium, There is competitive balance, That provides you with a lot of content, okay? A lot of content and a lot of great games. So that's the first thing, There is a lot of interest, there's a lot of attraction about what is the outcome of this live event, And then there is the capacity, for example, to continuously, and I am talking here about American leagues, okay? The capacity and the willingness to reshape the game continuously. Every year, NFL, NBA, these guys sit down with who? With the broadcasters. Say, okay, what happened with let's look at the numbers, look at the ratings. You know what? Okay, we lose rating in these parts of the games. Okay, what was happening in these parts of the game? Okay, maybe this play is not fast enough. Okay, let's make the game faster. Let's make more action inside the game. So they go and they change rules. They go and every year they are tweaking rules, they are tweaking rules to create what? To accelerate the thing, to create more attention, to create more action, to create more drama if you want, okay? It's incredible because what these people have understand since, I don't know, 50 or 60 years ago, well, even since TV appeared, is that they are not in the sports business, they are in the entertainment business, okay? Something that is completely different on the other side of the Atlantic. Because, first of all, for example, our leagues are still very unbalanced, okay? Only very recently, for example, La Liga has started distributing the money in an equal way. So who is the strongest people in the league? Maybe 3 or 4 teams, And 5 years ago, it was only 2, you know who. Okay, so how many games you have there? How many great games per season? Very few, very few. So the problem is that people don't see that. There is no show. The other problem that you have is a lot of respect for the game, because you say let's change some rules. No, you are killing the spirit. You're killing the soul of the game. You cannot touch that. But that's the problem. The ethos of sports outside of America is the ethos of No, we are this thing with the spirit of the amateur, and they all say we are the gentlemen and this big the gentleman that plays sports, so we have to respect rules. Or whatever. Okay, that's complicated,
Right.
no? And that now that approach is reaching to a is reaching a limit, okay? Because now there is far way more competition, no? So it's more complicated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of competition as well for how people consume the content, which is something you sort of touched on there. And, we're going to talk about OTT platforms, for example, very shortly. But because of that fracturing, I guess, of sports fans and where they consume their content, I've seen some people say that it's no longer possible to market to sports fans at scale anymore because of that fragmentation of the audience. What are your thoughts on that? And if you agree, I mean, how can you challenge that and how can you navigate that?
I agree, but the basic the core solution to that is produce better content. Okay, if you produce better content, if you produce better show, if you produce better competition, okay, there is going to be interest. Okay, the ones who do this great is NFL. No, NFL produce these great matches that we see the thing in the Super Bowl a couple of days ago. But then they are creating this interest, and when you have the interest, you are in the capacity nowadays to activate it because you have the tools. The technology is there. For example, you can create this augmented reality that nowadays, for example, NFL is using with their partners. I know this company that is called Genius Sport, for example, that is creating this enhanced video to insert that video in betting platforms. And they are creating a lot of betting products that are very, very engaging. And not only engaging, but also has a very direct conversion to actual money because you are doing all these things to engage people and buy the product. So the basic element that you need is conflict, is drama, is this great blockbuster content. No, if you are not capable to create that thing, that's your original thing. No, you are going to lose. No. 6 years ago, people say, well, Formula One, you have to sit down and you see Formula One, okay, in the stadiums, in the race, and you see these cars going around, no? And, you see one and they pass and it's boring, no? And then you have Liberty Media trying to go to America because they say, well, we are not going to follow the strategy of Bernie Eccleston. And they saying, okay, why we don't put cameras inside the cars? And most important than that, how we don't exploit the many different lines of conflict and drama that is inside the races. Because it's Scuderia against Scuderia, inside the Scuderia is pilot against pilot because it's the same car, it's the same technology, it's the same team. The conflict between the owners, conflict between the CEOs, conflict between the engineering and the technological teams. So you have you have a very big dramatic situations in 4 or 5 different storylines. So it's great to produce content. And now this is something that has been a promotional tool to increase the business of Formula One in America. No? But if you don't have the content, it's very difficult.
So say you've got the great content that you need. How are you seeing the best leagues or sporting organizations either use that content through socials and what channels are you seeing being really effective? And B, are you seeing any influencer activations that, again, are really being impactful?
The most interesting things that I have been seeing again is in betting. Okay, I see a lot of interesting solutions in betting in which you bring the content, for example, to platforms in which, let's say, you are taking the footage of the match, etc., and you are enhancing that footage, and you are saying, okay, let's use the technology to maybe broadcasting technology to make highlights in real time, no? Or maybe cut the event and say, okay, what do you think is going to happen next? No? Bet on that. Or maybe, I don't know, you are in live, you are capturing live the action and you are saying, okay, this guy is running very fast or is making these movements. Do you think, and this is betting at the end of the day, but these are like quizzes, no? And they say, you think he's going to maybe in the next, I don't know, play, he's going to annotate a touchdown. Mm-hmm. It's impressive. And people is like crazy following these things that they are watching maybe on TV, but they are also watching in their telephones, for example, and they are betting. They are doing that, and it's the capacity, for example, to use technology. I am not so so in about creating in social media and create awareness and all these things. All the time I say, okay, creating likes and have the fun, the vanity numbers. Oh, we have these views and we have these likes and we have this. Okay, I say that's great. Okay, but that is just the vanity numbers. Okay, show me how much money you make with that. Okay, no, we have this awareness because we are having these views, okay, and these views are associated, for example, to that betting solution. That is an enhanced betting solution. Okay, the number that I want to see that is very interesting to me is what is the conversion that you have. So what is the percentage of conversion that you are having, and with conversion I am saying bettings, okay, bets, for example, no. Or let's say, we go and, for example, let's say we use an influencer. We put this example sometimes when we are looking influencers here in Spain that work a lot with electronic arts, for example, selling, for example, the cards, the cards in fantasy football. Hey, now we have the cards in fantasy football. Say the interesting number. Okay, these guys is generating a lot of views, millions of views, but we all the time say, okay, it's an affiliate marketing campaign. This guy is saying, this is the car, guys, and down here in the video, there is this little link, please click, and you're going to have a discount because you came in my name. I am DJ Mario, for example. Okay, the interesting thing that we marketers, and personally, I all the time, I am interested in, and I talk this in my business because we have an agency, and I talk this with the students, you must look, okay, how many goddamn cards this guy sold? Based on the awareness that he's reaching, Yeah. So I think that influencers can do a great work, but all the time when they are able to convert, okay, an influencer that needs to sell cards, okay, how many cards he's able to sell, how many cards he's able to sell, to sold. I am not interested in how many views he generated,
Sure. I mean,
sorry for interrupting you, because I already have the awareness. I am football. So I know that people is following me. So I don't need you to come here and tell me that I am also famous in TV and now I am also famous in Instagram. I know that if I say boo in Instagram, I'm going to have thousands of likes. Okay, Bellingham appear in Instagram. My thing is how much money you can produce with a compelling product. Okay. Right. With the fantasy manager game, with the cards, with the betting, whatever. But don't tell me that we have likes in Facebook. I know that we have likes in Facebook. That's easy to obtain. No?
Absolutely. I think it's interesting that the things you mentioned there, I guess the alternative revenue streams, whether it's through betting or through that fantasy football that you just mentioned there was no mention of actually selling tickets to the games or selling season passes. Are you seeing clubs clever or innovative ways that leagues or clubs are actually marketing just those season passes, getting fans to engage and commit to be an engaged, active fan by buying a ticket or a season pass?
Well, the thing that now we clubs in Europe, the top clubs that have the money to invest in that are already doing, when they are, for example, creating these new stadiums or enhancing these new stadiums. Bernabeu is an example. Bernabeu is not anymore a stadium, no, it's a Starship Enterprise. So now you are selling, for example, the tickets, no? And the club has been exploring this, talking about Real, no? Real has been exploring this, and Real and other clubs are exploring this for many years, no? They sell you the ticket online, and they tell you, okay, you buy the ticket online, okay? Don't print the ticket. So don't go and print a PDF and come here to the stadium with the paper. No, you buy the ticket online, okay, here is the little file for Apple Passbook or for the Passbook app in Android, okay? Come to the stadium with your phone. The clubs are investing a lot of technology, for example, to do things like, okay, it's easy to enter because you go to the gate, you put you enter. The ticket have a BD code, and maybe you put your name when you enter. They're going to say, hello Rod, welcome to Santiago Bernabeu, welcome to Camp Nou, no? Rod, your seat is this and is that. Rod, you know what? The closest, this is the closest stand, the typical things that everyone tells you, no? The closest stand is this for hot dogs, this for Coca-Cola, you want them delivered to your seat, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a great experience. No, you say, wow, this thing is great. No, and I don't even pay a VIP ticket. I am paying a normal one. No, and I have Wi-Fi internet connection. Now, if you are Rod Yates, the same Rod Yates that, for example, you register in realmadrid.com and you are using the same email to buy the ticket, okay? We are going to cross the information, and we're going to say, Rod, you are the Rod, and we connect that also with our database because it's everything connected with e-commerce, no? Oh, you're maybe the same Rod Yates that at the beginning of this season buys that shirt of Bellingham. You know what, Rod? Now, if Bellingham put a goal, we are going to offer you, I don't know, a special scarf with a photo, with a number of Bellingham. It's going to be a discount just at the store, just as you go away. I am not going to send that promotion maybe to all the stadium because maybe I have a limited stock. I am going to say, okay, I'm going to give this to the Bellingham fans. Bellingham is this player of Real Madrid that are right now in the stadium, and only Bellingham put a goal. Okay, that's the thing, no? It's cross-selling, engagement, offering you service, offering you a compelling way to access to the stadium. It's seamless, it's fast, you offer me a lot of products, you know who I am, it's great. With that, you are creating a fun engagement experience, no? I am getting extra value for the money that I pay for the ticket. So my willingness to pay the next time is going to increase. Maybe the ticket is higher, maybe, but I know that if I go, the experience is going to be fast, easy, enjoyable. Okay, I repeat. My willingness to pay has increased. That's fun engagement, no?
Is that personalization that you're talking about there? Is that something new in the football world, or is that something that's been done for a long time?
In the football world, is something new. If you go to America, pues this is something that is already more evolved, no? The problem is that you, for example, in Europe, we are a little behind that, no? Certain clubs, for example, like Real Madrid, Manchester City, for example, has do great efforts, for example, in investing a lot of technology. Because all these things that I have told you about the stadium require what? A lot of investment. It's very nice when I talk to you about the experience, no? But what do you need to buy? You need to buy the hardware for the gate to enter. You have to buy the sensors all around the stadium. You have to hire infrastructure to Wi-Fi, high-speed technology. Everyone in the concessions of foods needs to be connected. When, for example, I know that you are Rod Yates, what does that mean? This means that the database from the ticketing area is connected with the database of the e-commerce area and is connected to the database of Real Madrid or fcbarcelona.com. That means that you have made your databases and all your systems talk one to another seamlessly. Because, okay, I know that it's Rod in the stadium. Boom, ping this to him.
Yeah.
All these things that sounds very easy requires a lot of investment in technology, data management, permissions about at least in Europe, comply with database protection laws. So it's a lot of effort. What is the problem of clubs, for example, and it's the problem of many companies outside also of the sports industry, or even the entertainment industry, is this they have built their business separated. It's
Absolutely.
a mess. It's a mess. And this is how football clubs are built. Football clubs have the sponsor, the ticketing area, as e-commerce is here, as socios members is here. Okay, each one work like they were little separated companies. Now put them together to work. It's a headache, very complicated.
Right. Well, I mean, key to that is data, the ability to have that data and then to integrate it. And, I wanted to talk to you about OTT platforms and the rise of OTT, particularly in sport. And from what I understand is that one of the benefits of OTT is that it gives clubs and leagues access to a lot more data about a fan than they might get from a traditional broadcaster. Is that the case? And if so, how do you see the best clubs using that data?
Football clubs are not creating OTT platforms for themselves. Some of them have some OTT platforms, but are very basic with very few content, etc. And they to try to use data, for example, to predict things, you have to capture a lot of data, okay? Because that's the word big data. No, you need a lot of big data that is high volume. That data that came in high volumes at high speed in real time, and you are capable with that data to, for example, teach a model, a little regression analysis model that allows you to predict something, no? That maybe you are going to watch this next thing, no? My knowledge of the football clubs that I know, and there are some of them here in Europe, they are not still there. They are not still there. Who has this knowledge? The tenants of rights that have acquired football now. For example, who has this information? Maybe in Spain, maybe Telefónica. Telefónica is a telecommunications company here in Spain that has acquired the rights for La Liga, and now is distributing the rights of La Liga in their own platform. That is an OTT. Well, it's not an OTT because you need to pay the yearly subscription, but they know exactly what games you are watching, who are watching these games, from what IP numbers, from what regions in Spain, from what regions. This is the guys who know that. On the other side, who has that information? DAZN has that information. No? DAZN has this information because maybe they are capturing that data. No? The problem with that data is that this data is not shared. No? This data is proprietary for Telefónica or for DAZN. No? They don't share the data. It's not like when traditional TV, no? Traditional TV, everyone shares the data about the viewership, no? And there is a unique system to measure, no? Everyone's follow the people meter technology and Nielsen, no? This is not happening in digital. In digital, each platform has their own set of data, and it's not sharing with everyone. You don't know exactly the viewership or the audience data of Netflix. Disney Plus is different, the song is different, Telefónica has the data and is not sharing it with you. La Liga has the data, the competition has the data, but also, no, it's my proprietary data. We are not going to share with that. You only know if you come here and maybe we negotiate and I sell you rights or something like that, or I resell you, no? But it's not public, no? So everyone is taking his cards close to the...
Right.
And I think that clubs are not this type of players. No, clubs don't have right now this big amount of data because they are not doing great big inroads in OTT distribution. The ones who are doing the big inroads in OTT distribution is the tenants of rights or maybe the league. No,
we touched on this earlier, but it just seems to be such a huge challenge for marketers to wrangle this fragmented audience. And I suspect they're still trying to figure their way around that. Would that be the case, or are you seeing someone do a good job of wrangling it?
You tell me about people who are creating great marketing products directly to the fan and to the consumer here in Europe. Well, you have the usual suspects that the guys who are always there. There is maybe Manchester City, United, Real. Paris Saint-Germain, but why they are doing that? They are doing that because they are making really innovative things in social media. No, it's because they are these big brands. They are very popular. They spend a lot of money in these players. Some of them are very successful in the pitch. Okay, so that's why all this inertia drives all the attention of the public. No. Sure. So my opinion, and I'm sorry maybe to people, I know that people when I am sometimes so honest, people tends to hate me, but I say, you know what, in marketing there is no I don't see real disruptive innovation. What do you see? Well, now we are not using horizontal video, we're using vertical video. Okay, right. Yes, it's nice. Okay, now we are doing a lot of histories in Instagram, so we have discovered that it's different to do posting histories because that's only can be seen by your followers, and it's different to have an approach in the feed because that is something that only people, maybe you can capture new followers with that. That's not innovation. When I see real innovation, for example, is in the things that we don't see. For example, okay, the things that football clubs are investing in technologies to improve the experience in a stadium. What, for example, football clubs or big organizations that are multi-football clubs, like Manchester City Football Club, for example, is doing with databases and information technology to for example, improve the process of scouting. Okay, the thing that they have these 8 football clubs, everyone in City Football Club, and one of the pillars that what they do that is because all these clubs that they have acquired are farms of players, are farms of talent, no? And all of them now are interconnected, okay? And now, for example, you are sitting down in Manchester City and you say, I need a forward. and you go to a big database that is your own database, and you say, we have a forward in the Yokohama Marinos, okay? Okay, let's look at this guy, okay? And guess what? Not only you identify this guy very fast, because the data is at your fingerprints, and these guys, all of them are training more or less with the same, more or less way of playing that Mr. Guardiola teach in Manchester City. But also because this guy, you own this guy. You say, okay, we have to pay transfer money to the Yokohama, these guys, or this club in Japan. Okay, we need to pay the transfer money, but we own the club. It's like moving one money of transfer money to one pocket to the other pocket. It's the same company.
Right.
Okay, so it's impressive. Okay, so what they are doing, they are trying to make more efficient the process of scouting, getting, and capturing talent. What is one of the major costs? Because what is one of the major costs of nowadays in the world of sports? Talent. It's talent. Talent is continually increasing. Meanwhile, what is happening with broadcasting rights, for example? The revenues are getting flat. Okay, the revenues are getting flat, are growing, but not as fast as the cost. What is the cost that is growing? Talent. This is creating a huge gap. So you need to cover that gap, no? So how are you covering that gap? In part, making the process of scouting more efficient, less costly, or at least, well, from an economic perspective, more efficient, no? And this is something that is behind the scenes, that is using technology, is using database and this thing. And this is something that you don't see. I see that the real innovation is happening there, behind the scenes, not in the marketing side, at least in Europe. Okay, at least in Europe. Blockchain technology, for example, to identify tickets, and for example, allow that tickets are pirate or are counterfeit. Blockchain technology to identify licensing products. Some clubs are doing that. Okay, and this is something that you don't see, but this is where the real innovation is happening.
Absolutely.
And there is a lot there.
Well, I was going to ask you, and just last one or two things, but just that kind of moves nicely into AI and how you see AI being utilized in the sporting world. I know you shared a post on LinkedIn a while ago about McKinsey's AI arm being used to help achieve a speed record in Formula E. Do you see an increased role in AI for AI in sporting organizations, not only in the way they operate on the field, but again, behind the scenes, whether it's innovating behind the scenes or marketing to their fans?
To use AI, for example, to create models, for example, or to use AI to identify insights inside data. First of all, you need the data. No? You need a lot of data. So, okay, we have all this data, and now we want to predict who's going to buy. We want to predict if Rod or people at Rod are going to buy more products or more tickets for the season. To use the AI to maybe enter in that information and, for example, work with this data and create models or machine learning solutions, that you need a lot of data. Okay, so I think that is in the future an opportunity. The example of Formula E is because if we read the article cautiously, we see that what they are using is that they are using artificial intelligence to very fast use some points of data to design an interface for the car, for the player. The driver has an interface, and they has using artificial intelligence and some very basic model to design that user interface. Okay, so that's part of the things that they do. No. Where I see a big opportunity, and this is something that we see in some football clubs and maybe we see also in the agency where we're working, is that artificial intelligence nowadays, all these products enhanced by artificial intelligence is helping to do our work faster. No, for example, the example that you mentioned, some things that we talked before, no, social media. No, now a social media manager or a group of social media managers who know how to use social media, or to use, artificial intelligence, are capable to produce more compelling content faster and faster. No? Couple of years ago, you need to sit down and say, okay, we need to engage the fans via this, and we are going to have this event with the player. Okay, let's start thinking copy. Now, simply you put, for example, the objective with a very good engineer prompt. You have to engineer the prompt very well, or you have to feed the ChatGPT or whatever I use, and you say, okay, provide me, for example, a list for 30 ideas for a post each day, the next day. And you can say, for example, do this and suggest me, for example, now hashtags. And you can feed the system with previous hashtags, or for example, something that you can find that are the most used hashtags. And you can say, can you maybe suggest other possible hashtags that we can use related to that? This is something that, for example, is a lot of brute long work. And now it's being fast and fast and fast and fast. We need to retrain these people, no? Because we used to have, and football clubs has armies of social media managers, no? Now the thing that we are seeing is that, hey guys, the worst thing that we can say, and I see this a lot in the last year, is say, wow, why I need 10 social media managers, and now I need 3 of them enhanced with artificial intelligence. Oh my God, a lot of people is going to be in the street. So at least, for example, we are retraining these people. In the agency, we are retraining these people to try to them to have to do other things, no? Right. But I don't know. For example, I see the future in with one thing that you cannot do with players is you want the players all the time, no? The players creating content for you, giving interviews, and it's very difficult because the players say, these guys has a lot of compromises. You cannot bother them. My complete dream, and this is already being think about is that you can have the image of the player. You also of course need to negotiate with him the likeness. And then you train artificial intelligence to create videos and all these deep videos using artificial intelligence of the player. And it's not the player saying the thing, no? So you can create promotion. Of course, the player needs to agree, but you don't need to waste his time, no? You don't have to go and you don't need to say, hey, please come and film the video for promoting the new product of the club. You say, okay, no, you authorize this. We use artificial intelligence to do that. And you can create, for example, 100 different videos, each of them saying, for example, Rod, I am Jude Bellingham and I invite you, Rod, to buy Carnet Madridista. And they say, Oscar, I invite you, Juan, John, and it's Jude Bellingham doing that, no? It's like this typical stupid videos that they sometimes send you for your birthday, when the players say hello, and some of them tell your name, no? Tell your name, no? And you, get absolutely emotional. Oh my God, he said my name. Imagine that I can feed that thing, for example, with your information. We know that, Rod, we know that you're in Australia. I hope in Australia now is very sunny, Rod, and we are here in Madrid freezing, but we hope you that, man. And you know what? And I don't need this guy. I need maybe his likeness. I need his likeness. And a machine is going to make this thing. That's engagement. And that's and that is something that is possible to do that now. That is something that is possible to do. Artificial intelligence allows to that. A big reduction in cost and in time and in efficiency.
What a whole new world. Very last question for you, Oscar. Very last question. Thinking back again to when you first started at Real Madrid and not being a football fan, but did you have any experiences at any of their games or with any of their players? I mean, I believe someone like Ronaldo was at Real Madrid at that time, for example. Did you have any experiences that just you could still appreciate as being special, even though you weren't a fan? Was there a game or a player?
Of course. For example, like you mentioned, Cristiano Ronaldo. So Ronaldo is a very, very professional person. You say, well, that the player is going to come and is going to give you this time for you to take pictures or do that, and the guy say he's going to be there at 1 p.m. No? And he's very busy, so he's going to give you just 20 minutes. Okay, try to prepare the thing, so he's going to, and it's impressive. The guy arrived at the time. He says 1 p.m. He is there at 1 p.m. He's dressed. He is okay. Now, please take pictures, do this, do that. Now, this thing that we say is a supermodel. Please smile, please do this, please do that. The guy is a great football player, but also is a person, for example, who knows that he's also a brand, okay, and that he needs to exploit that, and this is part of their work, no. This is this is a professional 21st century professional sports star, okay. You have other players from not so far away from Mr. Ronaldo, close to them, that you say, please, can you come at 1 p.m. We're going to take the picture. The guy arrived 1 hour late, no? And he's dressed in his clothes from the street. No, you have to dress, please. Okay, no, one time, okay. Please, can you smile? I am not a fucking actor. I say, oh my God. Okay, old school versus new school, no?
Right.
But nowadays, most players are like that. No, most players has understand that. Okay, no, we are this. We are because they have understand we are talent. Okay, we are not just football players. But this was Ronaldo was impressive. Ronaldo was impressive.
Nice.
I was the day that he arrived. 80,000 people like crazy entering the stadium. We have the offices down the stadium. And you see the people passing, running, and 80,000 is like a match day just for one guy to appear. And I was sitting there, and it was the people is crazy. It was for me. It was like you feel transported to the Roman circus 2,000 years ago. No? And you have the gladiator there, and you have every people shouting. It's impressive. I don't get excited about that, but I admire the people, and I admire this big mass movement. Okay, people get so crazy about that guy, or that guys, or that people, or that event. It's something that I observe with envy because I don't have that feeling. I don't have that.
Right.
I get emotional but for other things.
Sure.
But I admire the capacity to create that thing.
Oscar, thank you so much for your time. It's been so great to speak with you.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you very much for the invitation.